Imagine being so stupid that you try and do crime in New York City. By taking photos of his super battles for the Daily Bugle, Peter Parker's literally found a way to make money kicking your ass. And boy does he kick a lot of ass. So much ass, I doubt even Spider-Man himself remembers half of them. We've already seen a crap ton of unrecognisable rogues from issues past, and now we've got another cabal of costumed clowns we're probably going to forget about the second the video's over. But let's have a go anyway. Welcome back to the Forgotten Foes of Spider-Man. No way, dude, the first ones are from Liverpool! Finally, I've got representation in a Spider-Man comic. Please don't be shit. Please don't be shit. Spectacular Spider-Man issues 165, 6 and 7 have Knight and Fogg, those deadly lads from Liverpool. And they are scousers, even though right now they're in London. An ominous fog envelops local mobster Bertie Flynn. Yeah, that's right, England's got gangsters as well. It's bloody dangerous down here, mate.
The East Stain's massive.
Already we see one of the deadly duo in action. Fogg, a kind of sentient mist, seems to be an enforcer for London's organised crime because as he swirls around the manic mobster, he scolds them for trying to rob $5 from the boss. Only $5, mate, that's worth dying over. Fogg isn't just blowing smoke because bullets pass right through him. Or maybe they just missed. No way, what a pun. Maybe Bertie should have just let Fogg kill him because in his fearful escape, he goes bump in the night. Bumps into Knight, I mean. Fogg seems to enjoy the kill, but Knight's more upset than anything. Perhaps even this Knight can be noble. Either way, that's that for Bertie Flynn. Now to get to the pub, have a pint, and wait for this all to blow over. These two return to human form, which is always handy for a supervillain, and they wet the whistle a bit. Knight even pulls the server Jen, but he's too stoic. Very cool. Business before birds anyway. These Merseyside malcontents already have another job lined up, hired by a man from across the pond, something to do with the bloke named Spider-Man. And here he is now. Back in New York City, Spidey is begged by old foe, the Arranger, one of the Kingpin of Crime's top men, to now save the life of a man who frequently arranges to have him killed. Arranger's cocked up a lot lately, and he thinks Big Willie Fisk has had his fill of him. Yeah mate, as if Spider-Man's gonna fall for that shit trap. It's gotta be a trap. He may dress up in red and blue tights, but Spidey's no fool. He tells the Arranger to do one. Good for you, Spider-Man, screw him, he's a dick. Peter Parker thinks that this was for sure a ploy, a mind game to have the Webhead fall into a trap. Well, he's not playing Kingpin's game this time. I love how proud of himself Peter seems here for seeing through this suspected sabotage. But if Peter could see the pure panic the Arranger goes into here, he'd probably have believed him. Fisk really does want him dead, and now he's not up Kingpin's sleeve, no one else wants him either. You know it's a dark day when the chameleon is calling you useless. An ominous fog rolls into New York, and the Arranger had better arrange a funeral. As his assassin drifts through the window, he gives the Daily Bugle a desperate call, hoping he can summon Spider-Man before it's too late. And he's quite lucky that Peter was there to answer the phone, isn't he? Mate, Peter's already got a huge saviour complex. This is more fuel to that fire, isn't it? Oh wait, this is exactly what happened with Uncle Ben, isn't it? Peter could have helped earlier, but he didn't, and now it's kicking off. Spider-Man arrives far too late to save the Arranger, but just in time for his spider sense. Literally surrounded by danger, Spider-Man never sees Fogg coming, but as we saw before, while the fog is cold, the Knight is chivalrous. Their target was the Arranger, and he's already dead. No need to stick around and squash Spider-Man too. Knight launches Peter out the window, rather than just stab him like any other Scouser would have done. But his sadistic sidekick loves the kill. He follows Spidey all the way down, choking him with misty hands. How does that work? These two seem to be actually threatening, you know. Look how close they come to splatting Spidey on the pavement. But it takes more than that to kill Spider-Man. Despite his painful landing, he won't let these killers run off without a proper fight. Oh shit dude, apparently Knight isn't just some chrome dome punk. His sword and armour are made of adamantium. This fella's not your bargain bin bad guy, is he? Spidey's so distracted by the big shiny fella, Fogg slips behind him and chokes him out proper. Spider-Man's actually quite lucky to be alive here. These two are far more powerful than I expected them to be. Twice already they've outfought the Spider-Man, and this was a single issue. Ah, cool, I get to play lap dance. Wilson Fisk, the kingpin of crime, thanks his contractor for the good work, not noticing the spider eavesdropping outside his window. London calling, ba-da-ba-da-ba. London calling, I live by the river. Thomas Fireheart, do you remember him? Tommy is gonna pay for Pete's flight to London so he can track down his new royal pains. Hey, what a nice fella. Apart from all that Puma shit. We're gonna skip the entire flight and catch up with Pete by Big Ben. Yet another Ben in Spidey's life. He attracts them like fleas to a dirty dog. The wall crawler hooks up with local detective McDougal, and the officer is actually nice to him. Already, England's treating Peter better than America ever has. Move here permanently, Spider-Man, we'll treat you right. It only rains 90% of the time. But just who are these frights of the round table? Well, long ago, in Liverpool! We did it, lads, we're in a Spider-Man comic! Malcolm Knight and Thomas Fogg were two troublemakers, adopted brothers thanks to Fogg's dad Edgar, alongside Malcolm's birth brother, Leo. This will all be important later, I promise. The only one who could ever really control the rowdy pair was Fogg's sister Evelyn, and even she couldn't do it very well. Knight has always been the softer of the two emotionally, but not in muscle. He was a lonely kid with only one friend, Fogg, and so he followed whatever that little shit wanted to do, even into organised crime. When they grew up, the pair become hitmen for the Scouse mob, and one of their targets was physicist Henry Lewis. A genius man in the field of particle waves, Dr. Lewis could have changed the world with his brains if Fogg's bullet hadn't painted them all over the wall. But with him dead, no one can explain what the hell happened when his machine overloaded, bathing Knight and Fogg in strange energy. Caught in an explosion of otherworldly energies, Knight and Fogg become Knight and Fogg. How goddamn handy. Oh, some theorise that they became what they thought themselves as. Knight, an armoured man of honour. Fogg, a whisper in the dark. Either way, if Spider-Man wants another round with him, he'd better come round to my little slice of heaven. How did he get to Liverpool so quick it took me hours to drive up to London? Spider-Man stalks the streets, following Evelyn and Edgar Fogg. His only leads to the troublesome family members. Good idea in theory, but bad in execution. And make no mistake, mate, this is gonna be an execution, cause Fogg and Knight are here. Knight and Fogg catch Spider-Man off guard and once again absolutely rinse him. Peter doesn't even get a chance to make a quip before Knight's adamantium fingers are crushing his throat, while Fogg's fog fills his lungs. But the big heavy armoured bloke must make quite a racket stomping about. Evelyn and Pa don't know that they're family members of these two villains, but they do witness the would-be murder and beg them to spare the spider. And just like when they were kids, Knight can't say no to Evelyn. He chucks Spider-Man over the edge, splashing him hard into the River Mersey. And Jesus Christ, it must have been hard, because when when Peter wakes up, he's confused, he's naked, and he's got no idea who the hell he is. Oh shit, hang on. We're just gonna ignore this part of the cover. We get enough of that shit from modern Marvel, I don't want it from classic as well. He's forgotten his life in New York. He's forgotten Mary Jane. This is our chance to keep Spider-Man for ourselves. I do actually really want a Marvel imprint where the heroes are all British. It could be like the new Noir or 2099. The captain of the boat that picked Peter up, a man called Leo, hasn't yet told Peter that he's secretly the amazing, spectacular, friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. Because he is, how's this for a coincidence? Malcolm Knight's brother? What are the odds? Imagine a night on the piss with Peter Parker, the stories he could tell. The captain takes Pete for a pint, where he again meets Evelyn and Edgar Fogg, pissed as usual. Then the other two dickheads turn up. Knight and Fogg roll into the pub and send Peter's spider sense spiraling. Not that he really knows what the ringing means anymore. He's so surprised by his spider sense he knocks a whole table over, a feat of strength, noticed by Fogg. So they chucked Spider-Man off a bridge and suddenly there's a Yank in town asking questions. Bullshit, that's Spider-Man. The misty maniac Fogg forms a plot to finish the web spinner once and for all. While his mate Knight pulls Fogg's fit sister, but Malcolm refuses to get too close to Evelyn. She doesn't know what he is. What he does, it wouldn't be right. I do actually think Knight is quite a cool character. Fogg's a bit shit though. Back on the boat later, Captain Leo Knight comes clean with the American about who he truly is, handing back the webs. But just because his name's Knight doesn't make him chivalrous. He does it, hoping Spider-Man will do his brother in. But Fogg's gonna do them both in first. Leo has betrayed his brothers, and now he's gonna pay the price. Bros before heroes. Oh shit, here we go mate. Spidey's memory has been jogged and now the real workout's gonna start. Spider-Man lost the last few fights he's had with these two, but he still brushes himself off and dives right back in. And I mean dives literally. Peter takes down Knight in a single blow because he takes him by surprise and just goes for him. Knight's stepsister and father hear the commotion and find the hero looming over their friend. This doesn't make Spidey look very good, does it? And now it's looking even worse for Peter, because before he can turn out Knight's light for good, Fogg rolls back in. Spider-Man invades the villainous Vapor, because that's all he can really do against Fogg, innit? But Knight finds something that makes his sword thirst for the hero's blood. His brother's corpse. Heartbreak becomes hatred as Knight finally reveals to Evelyn the reason they could never be together. Whether he causes it directly or not, around him, people die, and now Spider-Man's gonna taste his steel. Get in line, Malcolm, your mate Fogg has the wall crawler well in hand. This smoke-like scumbag is literally untouchable, so Spidey has to get crafty. A loosened power line shocks Fogg's system enough for him to let go, but Spider-Man's not out of it yet. The heavy-set, heartbroken henchman Knight comes back with a vengeance for his lost brother. He demands to know why Spider-Man murdered dear Leo. But, obviously, Spidey's got no clue what he's on about. In fact, the last Spider-Man saw, it was Fogg squaring up to Leo. Knight doesn't want to believe it, but it's true. His only friend had murdered his flesh and blood for his betrayal in aiding Spider-Man. And finally, after 20 years, Knight is sick of Fogg's shit. He's wasted his life following this loser around, getting dragged into a life of crime, a life of dishonour. But his long-awaited revenge is cut short by Spider-Man throwing the power line at both of them, finally defeating the deadly duo with one shocking manoeuvre. And Leo wasn't even dead. They just say, oh, Pa was wrong, sorry. But still, the damage is done, and once these two wake up in strange ways, I'm sure they'll no longer be best mates. There was quite a bit of understated racism towards the English in this one, wasn't there? Fogg called Spidey governor about 20 times, and the detective in London offered Spider-Man tea and scones. Not very progressive, Marvel. Seriously though, these two were alright, a very unique pair of villains individually, and together they were clearly a force to be reckoned with, mate. They beat Spidey in every fight but one, and even that one was only lost because they turned on each other. Fogg was an absolute scumbag, using his spooky and sinister power to taunt his victims before they died. But Knight was of special interest to me because he really didn't seem like he wanted to be evil at all. He only followed what Fogg did because he was his only friend. Dare I say, there could be potential in a continuation of Knight's story. Maybe after he serves his time in prison he tries to use his power to be a hero in England to atone. Hawkeye and Black Widow used to be criminals too, so why not? You could even bring back Fogg as his nemesis. But as it stands, overall, Knight and Fogg, pretty cool. Don't get excited, this isn't Morbius, and it's not bloody Morbin time. It isn't Kirk Langstrom either, but I would be interested in seeing Man-Bat interact with the Lizard. From Untold Tales of Spider-Man issue 2, this is Batwing. A romantic rooftop dinner for Councilman Randolph Cherry with a woman that I really doubt is his wife gets interrupted by the rapid flap of giant wings. Oh, hang on a sec. Councilman Cherry. He was in season 1 of Daredevil as a senator in Fisk's pocket. Deep cut that, Netflix. Good job. A bloody huge terror of the night swoops low at the senator, turning the councilman into a screaming mess. But the monster doesn't harm Cherry or his mistress. What the hell was that thing? What does it want? And one day later, what's got Spider-Man in such a rush? Always late for school, classic Spidey. This book, Untold Tales of Spider-Man, takes place early in Spidey's career, so he's back in high school. We've got no Mary Jane, no Harry, no symbiotes or goblins, just puny Parker, schoolyard bullies, and a lot of low-stakes adventures. The Daily Bugle advertises a financial reward for the capture of the monster on behalf of Cherry, but Peter isn't Spider-Man for money anymore. Why should he get involved? Just because he's poor as shit and he's got no mates. One of the bullies, Tiny, steals his math notes and gets away with it because Peter's got to act like he couldn't kill him in one punch. That reward money could come in handy. He and May could move away and start a new life together. Sounds creepy when I say it like that, it's his aunt. So after school, the amazing Spider-Man goes hunting, but it seems Batmen are a superstitious and cowardly lot because he can't find Fang or Wang of the Beast. Fair play to Pete. He started the hunt here to get away from his bullies, but really, he just wants to keep May fed and watered. Her husband recently died, you know. So it's time to get serious. Spidey has only heard legend of this nocturnal nightmare, so he goes to the eyewitness, Councilman Cherry, for the full scoop. Cherry's been shitting himself ever since that night, bodyguards and all, but if he wants the back court, sometimes it takes a freak to catch a freak. Spider-Man teams up with Cherry and a plan is put in place, but Parker's got some time to spare yet, so he goes to visit the bully, Tiny, to retrieve his math book. But as he nets his notes back, Pete discovers big trouble in Tiny's household. I sat down for 10 minutes trying to think of a math pun for this bit, but it was too thick. The best I thought up was, there's nothing acute about parental abuse. Because it turns out Tiny himself is the victim of a bully, his own dad. Mr. Tiny's fuming that his kid's too dumb for school, with grades so bad he's kicked off the football team. Peter even thinks he might have heard a punch land. But Tiny's a bully himself. He deserves this. Doesn't he? We'll look at more forgotten foes of Peter Parker later on, but right now it's Spider time. He stakes out one of Senator Cherry's parties, but his mind is actually still on Tiny's plight. Hang on, Debussy? What the hell are these two talking about? Oh shit, Spider Sense! It's the frickin' Bat! Cherry's goons waste no time and open fire. Not a part of Spider-Man's plan. This bat monster hasn't even hurt anyone. Spidey can't condone its execution. There might be more to this story, but Cherry's not asked. He justifies it as a man protecting his home. Spidey dissolves their partnership and swings off, hoping to bring the bat in alive. But Cherry, of course, has other plans. A high-speed chase through the valleys of New York City, sick mate. This monster's fast, but 8 legs beats 2 wings. Spider-Man catches Batboy just like flies. The Beast retreats to underneath the piers, followed by the Webhead, but Spidey's assault is stopped dead when this creature, this bat monster, speaks. It claims it never hurt anyone, it just needed food, and its squeaky voice and snot-nosed face reveals that this Batwing is just a boy. Spidey's clenched fist becomes an offered hand to the creature, and Batwing hands Spider-Man his diary, the story of how he came to be. It's a bit wordy, so I'll just read the whole page to you. The diary tells a story about a boy who went with his father on a business trip, investigating possible illegal chemical dumping in Carlsbad Caverns. Maybe the father should have known better, or maybe he didn't realize the danger. Because he fell, or was there a gunshot? The diary isn't clear. And the boy was stranded. The boy survived, eating and drinking what he could find, even filthy, phosphorescent water that tasted like metal. And in time, he was rescued but something had happened. His mother called him Demon, and he ran away, all the way to New York, where he could find food and places to hide. Now knowing what he's dealing with, Spider-Man tries to offer the kid a hand, but the frightened Batboy understands stranger danger. He can't trust the Spider-Man, especially now he knows where his nest is. But when Batwing tries to flee, Cherry and his goon squad are waiting in the wings for the wings. With Batboy captured, Cherry does offer Spider-Man the reward after all, but no amount of money is worth standing by and doing nothing while someone gets hurt. Peter's got the power, so it's his responsibility to help Batwing. Even if the kid still considers Peter an enemy, Batwing vanishes into the night. Cherry turns on Spider-Man, but Peter's had nastier guys threaten him. Cherry doesn't even have robot tentacles. Step it up, mate. Batwing's lair and diary are found by police and reporters, and Spider-Man hopes that with his true story out there, he can find a bit of help. Spider-Man ponders the whole situation. His power had let him hurt Batwing, but he couldn't help him. And what really makes a hero? Punishing the bad, or helping the innocent? So, swallowing his pride, Peter Parker offers to help his bully, Tiny, get his grades up, using his mental power to help someone in need. Happy ending. For Tiny, I mean. If anything, Batwing's worse off than ever. So I mean, not really a villain, was he? More like misunderstood victim. Here's the plot twist. The actual villain we're looking at here is Cherry. Absolute villain, wasn't he? Like a little kingpin in training. I'm pretty sure he was in a couple Daredevil books as well as a corrupt councilman, so he's made his mark on Marvel. Batwing, though, could go either way. He could turn on the mankind that turned on him, kinda like another lizard/iguana kind of thing. Or he could become a hero despite public hatred, like the Hulk. Or he could keep being a weirdo, like what the hell did he drink that turned him into a bat? Astoundingly, DC never sued for this, and Batwing does return a few issues later, but not as a villain. He instead helps Spider-Man take on the Lizard, so I suppose we're done here because we're looking at forgotten foes, not friends. That one's coming soon. For our final villain, we're still on Untold Tales of Spider-Man, but this one absolutely already seems more sinister. Issue 8 brings us the Headsman. Issue 8 is told from the perspective of Harry Osborn before he ever met Peter Parker. Here he is getting called worthless by his dad. Recently, Norman's been pissed right off all the time, and poor Harry has no idea why. But once Norman's alone, we find out why. Ever since Mendel Strom embezzled from Oscorp, ever since a chemical explosion granted Norman Osborn sinister strength and cunning, he's been waiting for his opportunity to seize the criminal underworld for himself. And now that the big man of crime has been arrested, the throne is empty. It's Norman's time to strike, but this is a dangerous game he's playing here. Osborn summons a lackey to test the waters. But crime in New York? Not if Spider-Man's got anything to say about it. Just ask Fancy Dan here, causing trouble in, I think it's the shopping centre. Fancy Dan, Montana, and Ox, known collectively as the Enforcers, these are probably some of my least favourite bad guys because they're literally just henchmen. No powers, no cool costumes, hardly a threat to our friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. But what if it's not Spider-Man that they're threatening? A cord of an elevator full of innocence snaps, and so Spidey leaps into action. But that cable couldn't have snapped on its own. Someone sliced it. But who? The Enforcers were all getting thwipped up, weren't they? Oh, it was probably this dickhead. The Headsman, a medieval executioner with a giant techno axe on what appears to be a glider. Friggin' buff too, dude, what the hell? Unlike Ox, Dan and Montana, Headsman seems to have actual power. He's fast enough to outdo Spider-Man, and he almost gives him a haircut with that axe. And just because I don't like the Enforcers doesn't mean Headsman doesn't. He invites them to a team up 10 o'clock that night, and then he covers their escape as he goes head to Webhead. Holy shit, dude, Headsman actually almost slices Peter's face off. and he actually does slice Spider-Man's face off, with his identity potentially exposed. Parker's got no choice but to run away. Headsman roars about this victory. Holy shit, dude, he won! With that cobwebbed costumed cretin scared off, the enforcers accept Headsman's invitation, converging upon Oscorp itself. Luckily, Harry was there on the roof bemoaning his father's disdain, and the boy hears the enforcers coming. And look, there's Spider-Man! How convenient! Harry cracks out his Oscorp brand flare gun to signal the Spider-Man, and no matter what the Headsman had planned here, his evil scheme gets chopped in half. Spidey, with his mask all fixed up, gets ahead of the Headsman, and even this early in his career, the enforcers have no shot against Spidey. What does piss Headsman off though, is that he definitely won their last fight. He humiliated Spider-Man, and yet here he is now, taking the piss. Not on. As usual, now that Spider-Man knows what he's up against, he absolutely owns the Headsman, dodging his blade and even making him take out his own thugs. The Headsman's quite weird because he's simultaneously wearing not enough, yet too much. We can see his chest hair and his nips, but on his back, he carries a giant power battery for his super axe. Spider-Man unplugs Headsman's humongous hatchet from its power supply, and rather than fight man to man, Headsman just jumps on his glider and legs it, which pushes Norman Osborn over the edge. Turns out Osborn had hired Headsman as a kind of costume test for his newly developed villain tech, giving him the power axe and the glider platform. And now that Norman knows the gear's good and it's the operators that are shit, it's time to take matters into his own hands. But jump back to this a sec, you seeing what I'm seeing? Headsman got away, he escaped. And that means he returns. Issue 18 of the same series has Spidey head to head with the Headsman yet again. Jesus, page 1 and our Spider sense is already a tingling. This hatchet hacking hooligan is back, and like any good villain, he's learned from his past mistakes. The axe doesn't have a cable attaching it to its power source anymore, it's portable, and after what he's done, Spidey's head will be too. Last fight was merely a test. Headsman has struck again because this time it's a matter of honour. Spidey made him look like an idiot, so now Head is gonna redeem himself by slashing Spidey to pieces. He will not rest until Spider-Man is dead. It's gonna be 24/7 death battles until the Headsman kills his arachnid enemy. His one and only goal, his only focus in life, is the squashing of this spider. But Peter cannot be arsed with that at all. Spidey rather lazily fakes his own death by manoeuvring under some rubble that Headsman knocks off a rooftop, and then he just crawls away. The disrespect here, he can't even be arsed beating him up and webbing him for the police. Spidey just leaves. Look, he's changed back to puny Parker, and he's just walking away. Oh, there's a bed involved, now I get it. Let the Headsman glide around town thinking he's won. Parker's already got a prettier dance partner lined up. Oh, date all finished, actually gonna go out and stop a supervillain now, are we, Parker? I just mean, what if Headsman went off and heard someone while Peter was on his date? He should have at least took him down instead of running off. Headsman's nowhere to be found anyway, but Spidey does foil a robbery, so it's not a totally wasted night. So go on then, just where is our axe-wielding weirdo? He's off bragging to local crime bosses about how he totally, definitely murdered Spider-Man for real. Unlucky that this particular crime boss, Mr. Lobo, just had a planned heist foiled by, you guessed it, Spider-Man. The Headsman is livid that his spectacular final showdown with Spidey was a lie, but it does motivate him to make his dream a reality. Off he goes to kill Spider-Man, but we linger on this scene for just a second more because a mysterious new lunatic comes along with a sadistic choice for mob boss Lobo, and thus it is decided that the Headsman is out. But before that, he's still got an axe to grind with Spidey. It's not long before they're once again going at it. Indoors is probably the worst place Spidey can fight this fella. Enclosed space means he won't have much room to dodge the blade, but damn does it make for a fun fight scene. People run for their lives as Headsman swings a blade almost as sharp as Spidey's witty banter. It's not just Peter in danger now, he has to save the innocent civilians and all. But with a mental medieval executioner on his ass, he's gonna have to get crafty. The power axe slices support beams like butter. The whole building's gonna fall before long, and Spider-Man can't get to the civvies with this lumberjack loony slashing at him. Spidey spins a bungee web and sends Headsman flying, buying that valuable time. How fun does this look? But the Headsman's still got that Oscorp brand flying disc glider. He rockets back to the scene, ready to finally chop Spidey down to size, but he ends up not getting the chance. Misery, 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 that's what Headsman chose when he overstepped his boundaries. The cunning warrior attacks neither mind nor body, so the Green friggin' Goblin himself overpowers the Headsman by blowing his gear to pieces. And that's the Goblin being merciful. Spider-Man saves the damsels and squares back up to the fight, but it seems he's got a guardian angel because he finds Headsman already battered. Headsman's barely alive and Peter's got no clue who could have possibly done him in so savagely. Ooh, but I'm sure he'll find out soon enough. Headsman, I think, was kinda cool to be honest. I wonder why they haven't brought him back as just a regular dumb muscle character. He's got a unique design and weapon. He could be on the level of guys like Daredevil's villain Bullet or Captain America's villain Batroc the Leaper, just a villain for hire. He had a unique angle of being a kind of proto-goblin that Norman betrayed as well. He could team up with Mendel Stromm for revenge if he wanted. Speaking of revenge, his mad quest to get Spider-Man in his second story was quite cool. He set his mind to murdering him, but I don't know why he thought he could take Spidey down so easy just because now his axe isn't plugged in. End of the day, Iron Fist had a villain who just used a scythe, so I don't see why Headsman can't make a comeback as just a villain who uses an axe. And it's a cool axe as well, it's not just a normal bloody axe, it's like powered. There's defo potential here for a comeback. He just seems like an easy villain for any story. He could rob a bank, he could try out as Kingpin's new top assassin, he could be like Captain Cold and study and redesign his axe so it's got special properties or whatever. Limitless potential for this character right here. So, in conclusion, Knight and Fogg gave us a story about how evil doesn't have to be shared, and as long as there's a spark of good in you, you can rise above. Batwing showed us that Marvel really did run out of ideas around the 90s. He's suspiciously similar to the Lizard, but he's sympathetic rather than sinister. And Headsman shows us even the simplest of characters can be cool, it's all in the presentation. How many more forgotten foes could there possibly be? Well, I'll tell you, I've already got the next video's candidates planned out good and proper. One of them is Delilah, do you remember her? I know I do. Awooga. Any suggestions, put them in the comments, and cheers.